Hi there. Welcome back to Japan. Where James is alive. Let's turn the volume. Let's get some light on James so we can all watch the demise of James. The light.
She burns.
Hello, Harry. Welcome in. Welcome. How do you do? Can you hear James, or do you need James to move closer? So James is under advice not to touch his face.
Everyone's being told not to touch their face.
Don't touch your face.
Don't touch your face.
So look what we've got available. We have
Europeans are sure in trouble, aren't they, with this coronavirus? Because
the French are in a lot of trouble. They can't face kiss anymore.
The Spanish and the Italians do that as well, though.
Italians definitely do it, but that would probably explain
why.
Explain a lot. Yeah,
why it's been such a big problem over there.
Interesting that the country with the most physical contact is the one where the most happening. So, guys, as usual, sound check. Tell us if you can hear us. Tell us if you can see us. Tell us if everything's kosher before we go any further.
Cough once for yes, twice for no.
Come on, guys. Someone comment. Can you hear us? Maybe you're not commenting because you can't hear us.
Good point, actually. No, because otherwise they'd be saying,
"Where's the sound? Can't hear you?" Yeah, no one's saying anything. Hey guys, can you hear me? Can you hear James? Everything is all right. Everything. Oh, thank you, guys.
There you go.
In which case, it's time to talk about our drinks for the day. We have. Well, this is what James is going to be trying. This is a 9%, and James is not really a drinker, by the way. This is a 9% strawberry white sour, which is an interesting one.
Japanese be crazy.
And I have a choice between red wine and strawberry.
I think it's like strawberry wine.
White wine and pear. So what should I have, guys? Should I have red wine and strawberry or white wine and pear? You let me know. James, you're going to have...
I'm going to have my coronavirus killer. You know, people have been saying that alcohol kills coronavirus.
Who's been saying that?
People who want to drink a lot, probably alcoholics, people with an excuse. You know, when they say that, don't get too close to my face. See, if we have a big argument, if we have a big falling out, I can just wipe myself against him, like rub myself against him like a cat, and go like, "You're fucked, mate."
All right, red wine it is. Thank you, Harry. We're jumping in with the... I'm glad you said that, I like red wine. Although it's kind of the biggest sin of this, of course, is red wine. You should keep not chilled. You should keep it at room temperature.
Is it really?
This is a chilled drink.
Let's see what does it look like on the front. So it looks like you've got grapes, but you've got strawberries in a wine glass. So it's kind of like a strawberry wine with red grapes.
I'm sure we're not going to be looking at like the greatest Cabernet Sauvignon or some fantastic The Round Table Merlot. Prince Merlot.
So both going for a strawberry flavour.
Yeah. Actually, no, I was about to go Campai, but don't touch me.
Don't fucking touch me. Don't touch me, you diseased cretin.
White wine how is Lidl not on this? You can get wine in cartons is very popular in Japan. Just if you're into that kind of thing.
They did do those little plastic wine cups with the little lid before, that little peely lid, a plastic wine
Actually,
cup.
You know what we found today? You know, you get those like plastic cups that they sell takeaway coffee in, like the ones with the little pop-on lid. We found whiskey.
Well, it said it was. I don't know if it was on the wrong shelf or if it had like an old shelf talker.
It was well, it said it on the cup. It was whiskey in a coffee cup.
It was on the cup, yeah.
Whiskey in a coffee cup.
You know, one of those little iced coffee cups. It was in...
Oh, he's got one.
It was in one of these.
Yeah, but it was whiskey.
But it was whiskey in a little plastic coffee cup type thing.
Taking the idea of Irish whiskey to a sensible level. Let's just read some comments before we jump in. Bub says white. We already read that. Simpsy afternoon. Howard and Benny from Crossroads. I don't get the reference, but I'm definitely googling that afterwards.
From
hi
where?
CMC from Crossroads. I know that's a
Crossroads. That I think Crossroads was a really interesting soap in that it was based in a hotel, and in the final episode, it turns out it was just a fucking dream. It was like the concierge was like waking up on the last episode and like, oh, what a crazy
Wasn't it
3-year dream I just had.
that was like Dallas or something, wasn't
No,
it?
that
Where
was
they
Crossroads.
retconned it
Dallas, they retconned a
with a
murder
dream.
with a dream.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't remember.
Crossroads, I think, was a whole show that was a dream.
I seem to remember that Crossroads was one where there was a character called Howard, so you might actually be directly referencing something. Harry says, I'm sure it will compete excellently from the best box wine, hopefully. 5 Scotch breakfast. Good morning, Backers. Good morning as well. Oh, I've just realised by your icon who that is. I was wondering, 5 Scotch breakfast, who is that? Because you guys keep on changing your names, but I always recognise your icons. Bub's plastic wine cups with peel tops. M&S.
It does sound
Benny
like a
from
very
Crossroads.
M&S thing.
They have the wobbly
Yeah.
sorted.
I saw them on
Hey, Harold.
Dragon's Den, I think, the wine cups.
One of the great advantages of this is if any emergency go down today, I can leave you with someone to talk about anime.
Tell you what, though, the don't get too close. I'll touch. So yeah, the M&S. It just goes to show that M&S is not Waitrose. Waitrose don't sell wine in a plastic cup with a peel top lid. M&M. Lose yourself in the plastic cup of wine.
If you could have one cup,
just peel it off. Don't lose your M&S. I'm better than you. Fucking cock. Peels off another cup of wine.
Let's have our canned wine.
We're both going for strawberry today.
Yeah, but yours is a sour, mine is a wine.
What makes it a sour? What's that? What does that mean?
It's a type of drink.
What makes it a sour?
Being sour.
What
Let's
makes
go.
it sour then? He's not here to answer my questions. He's here to answer your questions. Somebody else ask. They'll answer.
It's pretty good, actually. It is very low alcohol content. It's only 3%, but it tastes good. His one's 9%. Smashed out his face.
Even though my taste buds are a bit knackered, you can still tell it's quite strong. Like a chew. Like a chew high should be.
Mm.
Is it a chew high?
Yeah.
Yeah. Strawberry white sour. The strong. Or if you do that, the wrong. Because it's fucking wrong. Some of these flavors are proper wrong.
James had trouble passing spelling in school. Told you, demise of James is coming in this episode. Yeah. Subscribe to Watch James Valley. Crossroads word interesting. First time ever used in same sentence. Yeah, it's probably true. 5 Scotch breakfast decided to use Reddit handle instead of I sometimes get disconnected between everyone's Reddit handles and their like YouTube handles, so it's nice when they match up. Bubs, James's anime talk will just consist of Cells at work as he's busy being ever. I saw Cells at work. I saw that. Yeah,
interesting.
Believe it or not, I saw that. It's quite funny. Yeah. I kind of enjoyed it.
Osmosis Jones, the anime, basically.
And now he's lost me.
Do you know what Osmosis Jones? It was a live-action / animated movie in the 90s where it was based inside Bill Murray's body, and Bill Murray got very, very disgusting during the movie. And it was like Chris Rock playing the white blood cell agent, and he has to work.
Irony.
He has to. It's a buddy cop movie, and who's the guy who? Who's the guy who plays the lead in Frasier?
I don't know.
Sideshow Bob in Simpsons.
I don't know.
That actor plays a medication pill, so they have to work together.
That's cool. I will check that out.
Well, yeah, because help you. And there's this badass virus going around trying to kill. That film should come back.
I don't know what to add to it. I've never seen it. James, the new and improved Lambrini girls. Yeah, we have got that slight vibe going on right now.
Lambrini is a strong drink. Women who drink Lambrini are tough ass bitches. Seriously, right? Lambrini is a Perry, right? And a Perry is basically a pear cider, right?
Yeah.
Pear cider before pear cider. Perry. So Lambrini is 15% volume. Lagers 5% volume,
It's basically it's wine. It's just
Yeah.
wine, but easier to
Well,
drink.
It's like
Cheaper
pear
and easier to
cider.
drink.
Yeah, and it comes in a 1.5 litre bottle and it costs like £3. And
Mm.
women are expected to drink like 1.5 litres of 15% volume alcohol that only costs £1.50 a bottle. Probably more now, but I'm going by 90s standards. But it's like, dude, you've got to be hardcore to drink a bottle of Lambrini.
I think we mostly, if you've
They
seen
could relabel that. They could just put it in a black glass bottle with a black label and go in and say hardcore pear cider for fucking tough men, and it would sell.
I think anyone who's seen a person who's drunk an entire bottle of Lambrini would probably be more than willing to agree that
It's a trick. It's a trick to get women drunk.
I'm gonna read.
They put a little drawing of a baby deer on the front.
When you two getting smashed and then live streaming, you both shouting at pigeons. Well,
Sounds like a London special.
yeah, I don't think that's going to happen at all. Maybe we'll shout at some bears.
Yeah, and then
Sven.
get shouted at,
Hello.
like eaten by a bear.
Hey, nice to see you, sir. Nice to see you. Harry said, did James bring a supply of toilet paper with him? They haven't got it in England either. I hear even though it has been made know that Japan supplies its own toilet paper and not China, there is still panic going on. Yeah, I mean,
It's happening in Australia as well. And
it's been made clear that there is actually
what are
there
people
is more.
doing with all this toilet paper?
Well, I want to know why they need toilet paper.
Yeah, why?
But it's
What they're doing is
it's
denying
it-
people who can't
it's-
go out and panic buy it.
what I don't get is more why it's not happening in other countries. Because if you know your sort of Japanese cultural history, you know that there is this weird thing that the Japanese panic buy toilet paper in any emergency. This is a weird thing that
Yeah. But
goes.
now the Australians and
even-
the British are doing it.
Even though Japan obviously has the toilet that will kind of pretty much do the washing for you without any paper if you wanted to. So, Kelsey Grammer, nice. So let's have a look. Let's run through some of these comments. There's a lot coming in. Babs is saying Bola Corona streams. Kelsey Grammer. Okay. Yeah, Kelsey Grammer was the right person. Perry, Baby Sham, anyone? Yeah, actually,
Both
kind
of
of
those.
similar.
Baby
concept.
Sham's one with a little Bambi, little deer,
Yeah.
put it on the bottle. That's right.
Careful, your alcoholism is showing. Japanese whiskey is where it's at. I'll be honest with you.
Apparently,
Everyone says Japanese whiskey is good. I think Japanese whiskey is like the most tasteless I've ever had. It just tastes sharp and it doesn't have like the flavor. Just to me, it's just sharp. It doesn't have any body
I thought
to it.
Scottish had that big.
Scotch whiskey, I've got to be honest. Scotch whiskey tastes much better than Japanese whiskey, in my opinion. I just don't think there's any
It's supposed to be
content.
renowned for it, isn't it?
Yeah,
But Japanese whiskey goes up in value. Say if I bought a bottle of Japanese whiskey on my back in 2005, it'd be worth a fortune now.
I just don't get what taste-wise. I don't get what the big deal is with Japanese whiskey. I've tried quite a bit of it, and some of it's all right, but it's just nothing.
David Hyde Pierce. So it's not Kelsey Grammer. David Hyde Pierce. Okay.
Osmosis Jones. Oh, okay, fair enough. CMC says in Japan the pigeons shout back "po," only if they are part of an army. Anna, subs. I don't drink anymore. 8 years now. Glad still shows that. Well, we have great influence. Don't touch my drink. All right, guys.
Friendship and
So we were talking about the fact that James is obviously doing his food reviews, but on top of that, we were wondering about the guy knows about anime, talks about anime. We're wondering also about the possibility of him doing some anime reviews on here. So just kind of try and get an interest meter as well for how interested you guys would be in like us.
I think manga might be quicker. I think I might be able to pick up some cheap manga
and
then just flick through it and go, I can't read it. It's in Japanese, but here's an impression, which will actually be quicker to do because I won't need to, talk about how the story works. I can just quickly flick through it because
manga by someone who can't read it.
This is because there is tons more manga in Japanese about food than there is manga about food translated into English. So what I do like doing is going to the bookshops and seeing what takes my fancy.
My fantasy.
My fancy. It's usually ones with a big English word on the side because they catch my eye. And one that I picked up the other day was called Cheers. And recently, because everyone's been getting sick, we've just been going, thanks for that. Yeah. I cough next to someone and they go, yeah, thanks for that. Oh, thanks for that. So seeing this manga called Cheers, it just makes me think, yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for the germs. So I picked it up, had a flick through it. And it was just about a guy who wants to join a cheerleading group, and he just ends up screwing everyone. That's the story. He's supposed to be there to do serious work, but he's not. He's not doing serious work. He's just having sex with everyone.
Well, there's your review.
It's great. It's up to 21 volumes.
Jesus Christ, how many people are in this?
Well, how many people's in
That was kind of that was the question. Thank you for clarifying the joke. All right, we've got some comments coming in for you, sir. Have James do Scandal anime in comparison to true classics like Captain Caveman and, of course, OG Scooby-Doo.
Review all the anime. Full stereotype.
From all the girl bands we review, maybe review some Weeble.
This particular body pillowcase has great stain resistance. And then the next one, the fibers are too strong. The fibers catch and keep all the stains. 3 out of 10. This one's machine washable. 11 out of 10.
Can you go home before you do these reviews? I don't want you doing these reviews here. I feel very uncomfortable about James doing these reviews.
This one chafes. I don't like this one. No, chafing bad.
What really fears me is now you're insinuating that you will actually do the review while you're using it like a live reaction.
It's the best way to review.
We'll have to get an account on a very different type of website to do those reviews. Okay, let's have a look here. So I kind of like Attack on Titan for anime series.
That would get a really good review out of me, unfortunately. Like once a year, I'll just watch the whole series because I like it so much.
Daisy co-host with James for the anime reviews. Maybe we'll team Daisy and James up, see if they can do reviews together. Hannah Sen, I had an Irish father and live in County Galway, though the first time I set foot in the country, I was in my 20s.
Set foot in the country.
Set foot in the country. That's interesting.
What Scottish people think of Ireland?
Don't worry, Boris will build a bridge soon. Then everyone, I touched him.
Scottish people in Ireland are like, this is a fucking pale imitation. They've got whiskey too, do they? Oh, fucking bastards.
This is his new stand-up routine. Scottish people reading the same was William. Oh, yeah, same as William Shatner doing cover songs. Yeah, it's kind of, isn't it? William Shatner covering songs without knowing anything.
Like reading the hiragana that I do know. Da me, da yo.
Which anime?
Tai.
Let's keep up with these.
Desu.
Sven says, which anime does James like? Good question. Well, Attack on Titan.
I like series that don't go on too long, basically. I mean, I can't afford the time to commit. So if I see a series that I like the look of and I'm scrolling through it and it says there's only 12 episodes, I'm like, yeah, that'll do. It's good. I mean, I'm not going to watch like One Piece or something.
Our review of the theme tune has many, many dislikes.
Really?
Yeah.
But the video was fucking ridiculous.
It was so stupid. But in kind of like a fun way. But we had fun. I just love the bit where it looks like the bird flies into a window.
This has got the buff like effect. If you haven't seen it, please go and see our review for the music video for the Attack on Titan theme tune. If
you go to our page and you type in Attack on Titan into our page search, then I think you'll find it straight away.
Good. It's got like a bird.
It's meant to look dramatic, but it just looks like a bird smashing us into a window. It's like that effect did not come off. Let's have a look at some things saying. Siebel saying YouTube failed to notify again. Apologies. I'm trying to get on top of some of the YouTube algorithm stuff. I've heard some problems with notifications.
Don't forget to smash that bell. like and subscribe. And don't forget to smash that bell. Just smash that bell.
Grab that bell and smash it. So, Harry says, I haven't watched anime in a while, but would welcome some reviews.
It's a really
Sounds
good.
good.
Way. It's a really good way of experiencing the gist of a new series without sitting down and watching
So
episode after episode after episode.
Just read CMC's comment. James and Daisy present Frap Whack and Sack. Interpret how you will. I think you can interpret that many ways, and none of them are family friendly.
They all sound like
Yeah. I'm not going to say you're too
like starting at different positions. Thrap's the top, Whack's the middle, and Sack is obviously the bottom.
That's hard
You
mode.
get a horrible,
That's hard mode.
get a horrible tugging sensation.
Come on, man. There's women in the room. What are you doing? Harry's going to get James to do some live week reviews. Or he said, yeah, he's going to help me. I was going to say polish off some of them, but I'm going to change the word now, considering where this conversation is going. Hannah, I'd watch an anime review or two, especially some left field classics.
Yeah, because I've never seen a film that I've always wanted to see, but I've never seen is Jinro, the Wolf Brigade. I've always been interested in that film, and I've never watched it. So I'd probably be happy to review that one.
Hey, Fernando, by the way. Hi, Fernando. Bubs just mentioned something that I think you've already said you've seen. Shokugeki no Soma. Japanese.
Izakaya, okay. That's cool.
Maybe.
One thing I'd like to review is Interspeak reviewers, because I've been the last time I came to Japan in September, I picked up the first volume of Interspecies reviewers and I read it in a manga cafe, and then I discovered that it's available in English, and then I discovered there was an anime being made of it, and then I discovered that anime was being like pulled from broadcast, so I've got to watch this thing.
Thanks to whoever just cleared Sven's comment. Sven was saying the last two seasons of Shokugeki no Soma are shit. Fair enough.
Shame.
That's why your comment got blocked, but then allowed. Just CMC actually said, so you and James are going to do the new Maximum the Hormone video. We are. I mean, as I've mentioned before, and as a lot of you guys know, James is a massive Maximum the Hormone fan. We are going to do it, although, like I said on Discord, and I stand by this, it's almost definitely going to get blocked.
Yeah.
But we'll do it anyway. And if it does get blocked, then we'll put it on the OneDrive and we'll put the edited version on. But obviously that means it's like 3 times the work for me. So if it does get blocked, you might have to wait a couple of weeks for me to actually
just lower the bit rate. Lower the bit rate and mirror it, so it looks like it's fucking Minecraft.
Okay. Like that is because whether they find out or not now, as the algorithm improves, when they do eventually find out, it's those ones that they've missed for a long time that go from being blocked to stricken, getting the copyright strikes. If they find out that you've had a video bucking copyright for a serious amount of time, that's when you get a copyright strike rather than just a block. So this is why I never do anything to try and skip around copyright. It's way too risky. Just put it on there, and if it gets blocked, it gets blocked. Just live with it. That's the best thing to do when it comes to copyright statuses.
Sad.
Yeah, but like I say, it'll still be available to you guys. We'll put it on unfortunately the first Maximum Hormone one we didn't save, which is the whole reason it never got published.
I can send it back. I'll send it. I got it.
No, it didn't save. You didn't record it.
Oh, I did do one of the music videos. Is the guys doing shots in a bar?
Oh, that one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I did do that one. I recorded there.
The first one we didn't save that. All right, let's have a little look and just follow up on everything that's saying. So, Babs, following up on what CMC said, are the free speed levels of. Oh, thanks for that, Babs.
That was implied.
Yeah, that was kind of, you get a joke and then yeah, I'm not going to say that. A good anime series I watched a year ago was Orange.
Or Orangey.
Yeah. I've just got to breakfast. I've heard Love, Death, Robots on Netflix is good.
So have I. I do like a good variety show.
Exercising style over substance. It just didn't feel like it really came off as being anything worth watching. And then I saw another one which was a little bit better, but yeah, I got to be honest. It struck me as being interesting, like stylistically, but I was kind of thinking it was going to be like
Animation
artistically,
showcase.
yeah, it was artistically stylistic, but I didn't really
Yeah.
feel that it had anything to say.
I really thought it was. I really think it's going to be something like that Animatrix DVD
Oh,
they brought
yeah.
out with like just
That's going back some, isn't it?
yeah.
So Sven says, which other artist does James like?
I haven't really like explored much, but artists I do have like CDs for. I did really like Poly6
Yeah,
until I think their music started to turn into like a wall of noise. It didn't have much rhythm anymore, so I kind of dropped out of Poly6. Their earlier stuff was quite good.
Mad Capture Mark.
And Mad Capsule Markets. Yeah, I've got like everything for Mad Capsule
He,
Markets.
he really does. It's like
apart from that one, they did one CD, which is the same. It's their first album, and they released it under an independent label like Insect Noise Records. And I don't have that one because it's so expensive. But I've
he's got like it's basically like it could be like a shrine.
I've weird thing, Mad Capsule. I've got like I bought DVDs of documentaries they did off of somebody from their record label. I had to meet them in Japan. I had to we discussed the sale, then I met them in Japan, and as I was buying them off of him, I was like, arigato gozaimasu, and he's like, I speak English, I don't care. I was like, all right, thank you very much. And it's like, yeah, master copies of some documentaries they made for TV broadcast that the guy had on DVD from the record company. And I was like, thank you. I'll just take those. So, but bands I've seen live, I've seen Boom Boom Satellites live. I saw Poly6. I saw Mad Capsule. I think I saw Mad Capsule Markets live. How strange! My favorite band, and I can't remember whether I saw them live or not. I think they're terrible live, though. The main singer's voice is awful live. Maximum the Hormone live. I saw them, and they are perfect. Seriously, I don't know if it's the guys who do the sound mixing for them or what, but their intonation, their performance, the clarity of sound is just perfect. Western bands like Rammstein, I saw those. I saw those guys live. Stuff, like Japanese bands though. Yeah, there's a few. I might have to mention in the future.
So we got some buffering happening. Oh, there's a lot of comments on it.
Let's see.
Um,
Hozuki no Retsu is a good.
Is the Reddit song suggestion still open? I can't upload a suggestion on the comment line. It says that is archived. The Reddit song suggestion should still be open. We'll have to check that. Get a joke and beat it to death. Thanks for that, Hannah. Oh, wow. Okay, with comments going off the top, so we're going to have to keep up with this.
Scroll.
I really like the anime series of Masaki Yuasa. Not a name I know.
Masaki Yuasa. No, but it's someone who's kind of newer in my eyes.
Or older. Who knows? I'm getting a lot of buffering. A lot of people are saying buffering's happening.
Oh, no.
Twice the backer awesome takes twice the bandwidth. It's buffering. Reddit automatically archives a post after 6 months, so I have created a new post. Oh, really? Okay. Thank you very much for that. CMC, I actually had no idea that it did that. By the way, we've got 16 people in here. Just to say, as always, if you're enjoying our little ramblings, then do please press the like button. It does help with our stats, and stats are good just for keeping the channel alive. If we want to keep things going, we have to stay good in the YouTube algorithm. So things like a live chat, it's nice when we have a couple of likes on there just to keep it going. So if you're even mildly enjoying it, and you can just move the mouse a little bit over, or if you're on a touch screen, just move your finger a little bit over.
Mild enjoyment.
Bump.
Oh, we do like a bit of mild enjoyment. We don't like getting overstimulated.
Don't turn it to a more like detailed joke now. Don't let him do it. Don't let him do it. So Fernando's got it now. Perfect. All right.
Flock ye to it.
Flock ye Smash that bell. Oh God, here we go. Thanks. I can see the likes coming in. Really appreciate it.
Grab that bell and
I always
smash
forget
it.
to like, so make sure to remind me to see Bill. Yeah, no, I know.
It's
It's nice that people are coming by. It's just like I said, if you press like, it's all good for our stats and people.
I'm smashing my bell. Sorry.
People like us who are running nice little channels that are slowly growing, but we don't have YouTube. That's the goal.
Apart from maybe Ryan's World.
No idea who that is and if he's monetized.
So, of course, children's channels are supposed to be not monetized anymore. Right. And Ryan's World is like the biggest child-friendly one. He reviews and not at all just gets sent things for free and money for a positive review. He reviews toys, and he's a child who's been doing this for like 4 years. So now he looks about 60. Do you remember I put him in one of my reviews? And I put a little like help me. Like, do you remember? I sent a review out with like I mentioned Ryan's World. I can't remember what it was. I think it's one of the ones we could I think I was reviewing Hikakin TV. So you have to put that in the banned list on Reddit.
Okay.
So I did what's her name? Is it Iotsuka, the YouTuber? And
That's not a YouTuber.
No,
that's a singer.
Oh, is it? Because I thought it was AI. Anyway, that virtual YouTuber is really big at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, and I reviewed a couple of Hikakin TV videos, and I put a little Ryan's World joke because he's just like no teeth on the front of his like merchandise. He's like getting wrinkles.
Are we starting beef here? Are we starting YouTube beef?
YouTube beef. I'm calling you out, Ryan. I think you're old. You're getting well old.
We want to see your birth certificate.
You're getting mugged off.
Birth certificates.
You're not playing with toys. You're doing the work. Hi, guys. It's me, Ryan. I've lost all my teeth because I'm drinking Red Bull now today.
Just jump in on those comments, man. This is cool. We're starting some YouTube beef now. Okay, so we've seen that. I'm serious. I will forget if you don't say. We will keep on reminding everyone, smash our bell, smash the bell. And yeah, super kicks that like button. So CMC says, please check out the old thread to verify that you have all the links from the old thread. Yeah, no, don't worry. I'll check that as well. And everyone else, if you want to check that your suggestions were definitely handed in, check out the old thread, but the new one is where to put them. Fernando, have you seen the YouTube channel, The First Take? No. Let us know what that is.
If it's good.
Kizuna Eye.
Kizuna Eye in the title.
I will go now, says Sven. Where is Sven going? Wait, I need to roll up for the
Probably going to the Reddit thread. Reddito threado.
Well said.
Not today. Not today because I have an illness. Usually, I'd be right on that finger.
Can you stay somewhere else tomorrow?
Sleep outside with a bear.
James sleeping on the porch, bear coming up to him. Oh dear.
For me, outside sleeping inside a bear, like in Star Wars, like a town. I'll take that fucking bear down and sleep in its guts.
I was thinking of the Revenant.
Revenant. All right, fine.
And then Star Wars. I guess Star Wars did come first. So I guess Revenant was just a copy of Star Wars, wasn't
I think Pete likes sleeping inside animals for a long time.
But not on movies. Who wins an Oscar for it? That's the question. So, by the way, is everyone getting buffering because the comments have stopped, or are we just stopped being interesting for a while? I have to cover what's happening here. So today, I have to get the latest music papers. All right, guys. So this is an interesting one. I keep on seeing these guys on the front of the music papers. Little Glee Monster. I have no really idea. I'm guessing they're like a girl band, but I don't really know much about them.
Well, marketing is half the game, isn't it?
Well, exactly. I mean, they've been everywhere for years, and just no one has ever really mentioned them. I've seen them. I'm one of those ones who I see them, but I never got around to them. So anyone know anything about these guys and whether they are in fact any good? let me know before we move on to anything else. So as Fernando says, singers or groups sing live, supposedly on a first take. Real intro. Oh, actually, no, I think I have seen this. Yeah, and it's just kind of like the white background and just a microphone and someone's singing. I mean, I thought you guys have probably heard my comments on this before, so you can probably guess what I'm just going to say on this. But I always feel a little bit strange about these things because my feeling kind of always is, well, this is their job; they're paid for doing it, and so almost like it almost feels like you're testing to see whether they can do their job. And if they fail, and it's like, well, if they succeed, it's like, well, yeah, that's your job. And if they aren't that good, you're kind of thinking, well, okay. You've highlighted that they're not that good, but they're still selling records anyway.
Does that happen though?
Well, yeah, exactly.
I mean, or it's all generic and it sells anyway because the women are attractive, and they get a few fans who latch onto them and they'll watch them whatever they do.
Singers or groups sing live, supposedly on a festival. An interesting group of singers like Lisa Sayuri. I mean, Sayuri's like, her whole thing is that she's basically a busker, so I can't imagine her having any struggle. Just basically her performing first take is just like her performing anything. Lisa's been around forever, so I imagine he'd be pretty good. It's one of those ones where it'd be kind of to really. I think the whole first take thing is just a gimmick for basically here's someone doing a live set. Probably just kind of, if you think about live sets, they're pretty much all that way anyway. I think it'd be very rare for a group to do a live set on an internet thing and actually ask for a second take. But that's an interesting idea. So Sim says, New World Tour Wednesday, Fred. Again, the old one is archived. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think the Reddit has only started to really grow in the last couple of months, where our subscriptions have started to really build up as well. So I think a lot of people are, as always, thanks and credits to him for giving us that access. I mean, giving us that place to hear the suggestions and get hold of them and everything. So it's much appreciated. Let's have a look here. So Fernando's saying I suggested Little Gleam. They were on Little Gleam. Is that another name for, or is that something else? They were on first take. Probably best I see them like a music video or something first. Five Scotch says still buffering here. Is everyone getting buffering? Because I mean, sometimes it's regional.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, sometimes it's regional. I mean, here it's showing a good signal. It's kind of showing good strength. Just checking. Yeah, the clock's fine. So Harris saying Little Gleam was a chorus group of 5 members, originally 6 members. So when you say chorus group, I kind of think of like a cappella. But anyway, actually, tell you what, don't tell us too much about them because obviously that will ruin the reaction. But hopefully we can enjoy them soon. So yeah, like I say, they're doing the rounds on 7-Eleven's music papers. So, and on the back is Mr. Tak Matsumoto.
Is Tak Matsumoto any good?
I don't really know. Let's have a look. Let's see. Yeah, so there's these Glee monsters. They're very, very popular. They've got a double page spread. Oh no, it's more than double page spread. They've got another 2 pages as well. So they clearly their record company paid a lot of money.
Little Glee Monster.
Yes.
Sounds like one of those bad translations that maybe that.
Doing all right as well. Cannaboon's getting a double page spread this week. So this month, should I say? So yeah, some artists getting a fair old shout. So
but is it a like music news magazine or is it just a music promotion magazine?
Well, it's promotion.
Does it have like the same record labels, artists, mysteriously?
No, but I'm sure it has all of the artists who are being bankrolled, particularly by their record company. Let's have a quick look at some of the comments here. Seems to still no bed in reviews poll. You only mentioned that today as far as I'm aware, and we saw it. And fun buffering wise for now. That's good.
Bed in.
Yeah, that's the one I was telling you about
earlier.
Fernando, Little Glee Monster. Lol.
Bed in. Are the band members named like, what is it? Fitted sheet, duvet, pillowcase.
Kind of run out at that point.
Sheet, fitted sheet,
undersheet,
exactly. duvet cover,
Blanket.
pillowcase, blanket. What is it? Mattress.
Oh dear.
That'd be great. Bedding.
Little green monster Japanese bias against leprechauns. PK says still a fair amount of buffering for me too. I think the fact that it's different for different people in different regions makes me think that maybe this is coming across fine. It's maybe
controlled internet.
Just the way that it's being dispersed.
Maybe
around
your
the world.
governments don't like certain things we're saying.
And now the buffering returns have said nothing. Ooh. I don't know, strange names these Japanese groups have sometimes. I think that's fair to say, but a lot of them are like James says because of the weird transmissions. CMC intermittent, but oh yeah, we just had a connection is unstable has come up on the screen. Right, this is the test card.
I think we're back.
We think we're back.
Yes. It did say, like, you are in trouble. You are frozen. So we decided to be, like, frozen in those weird flat panel prisons from the Superman movies. There you go.
That sounds good. So Bubs is saying, you guys are so cynical about these hardworking marketing magazines. They're not cynical about that at all, actually. I mean, I got loads of them. I kind of like them. CMC, no bed-in members are bunk. Bed, of course. Nice. Okay, that was
bed frames are not allowed to be in bed in.
Futon. I'm futon.
I am futon.
Roll out sofa.
I am mattress and sheet in one.
Roll out sofa. CFC and of course race car beds.
I sleep in a race car.
Harry says still here.
Like,
good. And then just hope you don't freeze like that.
Queen size.
Single. It's just got a member called Single. Oh.
Pocket sprung. More water bed.
Memory mattress. There's so many things. So many things.
I'm the newest member of bed in room. My pillow. Pillow.
Is it really just the connection that's unstable? Some of us viewers and maybe one or two or three hosts might be too. Says Hannah. Yeah, I mean, we just got a message here, so I think it might be something up here in the mountains is not going so well. But we always find out when we watch the playback later after it's been saved to YouTube. So usually you find that the information's coming from here, but it's not coming through at a steady enough rate.
Sometimes we sit.
Bubs, connection unstable. The viewers are unstable. The world's going to hell. Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria. Hannah, great minds and fools. I'm really confused.
Oh, that's from them getting the same joke earlier.
Oh, okay.
You know about the wanking bell thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, smashing the bell. Yeah.
Smash that bell now. More buff. I have standards. Top sheet, body pillow, comforter.
I am top sheet. The fans have to vote for top sheet every month. Whoever gets the vote for top sheet gets to wear a golden dress.
She's graduated to the laundry. She graduated to the laundry basket. Oh, Jesus.
Ceremony where they lower her into a wicker basket. Like, you know, like on a harness, being lowered into a giant wicker basket, never to be seen again, unless they're like in a little tiny box in the corner of the screen on TV shows reacting to shit.
Except that they'll be in the tiny box just going round and round and round. Oh, I love this band already. Oh, Comforter, I love that. If those bears are the cause of the buffering, I'm pretty sure bears are the cause of all of the problems in the world.
They're just chewing on all the cables.
The snow started to melt, so the bears will be coming back soon, if not already. So, comments coming in fast. Sven says, will you hear Psy-Si's EP before Scandal's new album? Maybe concurrently. Not really sure how I'm going to deal with that. Like, I mean, actually, to be honest, Psy-Si's new EP, I'm probably it's probably going to get put off indefinitely because, like I say, it borrows a lot from their albums. So it's better off that I just review the albums because the EP itself doesn't really offer anything new. So that might be just something that comes much further down the road, actually, if I'm honest with you. I've already covered the single from it, which is it's not so much an EP as it is just really more what I'm focusing on. They've already started the marketing campaign for that. So that's the big one. CMC says, with buffering and hats kind of like hipster duo stutter rap. Oh my god. Oh, we've been on frozen.
What a time to be frozen. Coming from the underground, sitting in a room. Watch out for the bears. I hope the bears don't eat our tiny dogs.
The dogs are still here, by the way.
But for how long? Who knows? They're literally just on leashes outside where the bears are.
It's like a snack buffet. Just the bears can come by and just pick up a dog.
2 dogs, 1 kennel. Fight for survival.
There's these some cameras out there, reality TV of the cruelest kind. I think Comforter would get the most love. Dark times. Well, I think Body Pillow. The only important thing to wear is tank top. Fair enough. Bob says separate cover rubber sheets or weeby pillows. Oh, we've been frozen again in time. There we go. So Bob says separate cover rubber sheets or weeaboo pillows. Yeah, I think rubber sheets is kind of
uncomfortable. Yet again, chafing. Get the chafing bad. Is that a Morris Minor and Majors reference? And yeah, I had to look it up, says Hannah Elizabeth. We'll find out. We'll see when CMC replies to that. No, it wasn't, but I am intrigued now. Okay, we've got the answer straight away. Good. Well, let's wait and see if that was a Morris Minor and Majors joke. It wasn't, though. Well, Morris Minor and Major and released a song called Stutter Rap.
We call him Kids from the Darkness now. I'm calling KFC. I don't know when that happened, but I like it. So why listen to the rest? Because it's an album, and so I must sit through what everyone's telling it. Everyone's saying, "Oh, the album's all right," but then if you ask them about any of the songs, they're like, "No, it's not good. That's not good. That's not good." So I'm like, "All right, check it out and see."
Let's see what my taste says. Is it good or is it not good? We shall see. Yes, so I was interested to find that the artist behind that Makudonolodo song, the one that got a bit viral before the Olympics, when Howard did a good review of, that the guy is actually a serious artist who, has very much like a lot of anti-China that, one can relate to that, though. How can anyone think ill of the wonderful, generous, respectful of copyright law Chinese government and society? They always tell you the truth. They always do what's best for the people. How can you say anything against such a wonderful and generous society system
against China?
Yeah, exactly. I might have to go back and see this guy's views, but I was surprised to learn that he's a serious artist who does a silly song or two So that's quite interesting.
I am going to leave you with James for a few minutes.
Okay.
Can you deal with this?
Maybe. I'm going to have to work off of the comments, though.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'll be able to come up with something on my own.
Guys,
Otherwise, I might have to just do spoilers for future content.
quick James moment.
Okay, so guys, this is a rare opportunity by Fernando, by Sven AKG, to see the variety of posters that Howard has behind me. We've got a Bandmade poster here with printed, not real signatures. There you go, that's the one there. We've got a pretty simple Baby Metal one there from Metal Galaxy. Silent Siren in a very cheap hotel room. As you can see, they're all having to share one bed. Some people might think that's sexy, but other people think it's a abomination, and that people of the same sexual gender shouldn't cohabit in such a way at a certain age. You know, it's a sin and it's wrong. So, they're obviously trying to save money on accommodation costs. I mean, some people think it's fine. Obviously, there's nothing sexual about it at all. It's just people need to sleep. It's a physical requirement. You need to sleep once every sort of 12, 18 hours. So if it comes to sharing like one duvet, one divan, so be it. Save a bit of money. I mean, if the hotel finds out you're doing it, then you're stuffed, really, because they'll just charge you extra on your credit card. They keep your details. They keep your credit card, info on file for that very reason. If the hotel thinks you're scamming them by sharing a room or a bed, they'll charge you. That's what we used to do in our old anime conventions. Before anime conventions were these big things that you can go to, we just used to rent out a few hotel rooms and hang out and hook up a PlayStation, watch some anime and play some video games. Anyway, yeah, so the hotel will get you for that. Hopefully they'll sell enough CDs to pay for that hotel room. Let's have a look at some questions. Billy has no real copyright, but at least I can send Howard some Sci-Fi TV episodes. Okay, yeah, reviewing sometimes bands do have these interesting little projects where they make a TV show or they make a fake documentary or something for their fans. A number of the songs are not all that strong, but still good. I think the only bad songs are ones that sound generic. Ones that you don't really get any real hooks out of. Ones that after you've heard it, you can't hum your own version. You just if it's got a good melody and it stands out, then that's a good song to me. So if a song is very bland and it has no real tune or melody, which is more common than you might think, then that's what makes a bad song. How can Silent Siren in a cheap hotel room be bad in any multiverse? So if it's a universe inhabited by hotel proprietors, that's what case it is. Because if you're a hotel proprietor, that would piss you right off. You think to yourself, they're a successful band, they're bankrolled by a big record company. I'm just a small business owner. I run a hotel. I want my money. Make those women pay for their own separate hotel proprietors, or some sort of ultra religious, or one of those religions that frowns upon that kind of. That's the kind of verse. Okay, so Ivy Shy asks, do you share the same bed with Howard? There are no beds in the sense that a bed has a frame. We're talking thin futon territory here, which, to be honest, isn't so bad. I mean, sometimes a duvet, not a duvet, sometimes a mattress can be so soft it's hard to get comfy. And of course, a hard floor is no way of doing it. So a futon's a nice middle ground. And yes, Japanese room, very small. So use what space you can. So we're kind of really within infection zone territory right now when it comes to sleeping arrangements. But that's not unusual anyway. Needs must, as they say. So CMC says maybe Bed-In's next album should be called One Duvet and a Sticky Sock. Not really, no. A sock doesn't count as bedding. That's underwear. That's garments. That's garmentry. It doesn't fit. That would send their fans into a ridiculous rage. It doesn't matter if you're using it in your bed. I never understood this whole using a sock culture. That's just like wrong and bad and shouldn't be done. So let's just leave that aside, shall we? A sock, especially when you can spend 1,500 yen on a perfectly good single-use tenga, which is a luxury wank sleeve, which has ridiculously high sales figures. I don't know what the deal is with those. They're single-use. That's just weird. Anyway, go back to the sin part. I needed to get a notepad and pen. See, yes, exactly, Hannah Elizabeth. Some of us are unaware of sins as a concept, so we need to learn about them. Sins are basically bad things that God, whichever God you have, doesn't like. For some reason, your God gives you free will, but doesn't allow you to exercise it. They're like, here's free will, but it's actually a big test. So here's all the fun things you can do, but don't do them, because otherwise you'll die forever when it comes to death time. But if you follow my rules, you'll get to live forever. But I wonder if you can sin in heaven. Are you allowed? Is it just like your free pass ticket? So, okay, you've held out for this long. Now, welcome to hedonism land. We do all the things we were told you couldn't do while you had a physical body. It would just be so cruel, wouldn't it? Okay. Okay, Harry says, I've been to a few RPG conventions where a large group of us shared a room. Those were fun times. Exactly. Yeah, good old-fashioned conventions where you and a few mates get together in close quarters, have a few drinks, maybe watch a few YouTube videos. Everyone's got a favorite YouTube video and they just, oh, check this one out. This one's really funny. Actually, that said, there's a really good series of YouTube videos out at the moment, and I don't normally watch gaming videos. I don't usually watch Let's Play videos, but there's one guy called Let's Game It Out, makes reasonably length videos where he really messes around with like Roller Coaster Planet and Zoo Planet, and I really recommend those. I just spent a weekend with friends at Center Parcs, and the first thing that one of our friends recommended us all watch was the same video that I watched from this Let's Game It Out channel. And he does this crazy thing on Sims 4, where he just kidnaps everyone in his neighborhood. Anyway, yes. Okay. Oh, so Five Scotch Breakfast asks, what's my top Poly6 song? They usually do these little instrumental tracks at the beginning of the album, which sound really good. Now, there was this sort of viral video back in the day that Neil Cicierega, Lemon Demon, the guy who did the Potter Puppet Pals and various other things, he did a video for a few he did videos for a few Poly6 songs. I think he did a video for New Wave Jacket, which was very good. I did like that. Although I did like Electric Surfing Go-Go, which is the music video which has the schoolgirl wearing the little censorship glasses that Poly6 wear. She's doing all the body popping, and that's pretty cool. That's a good video. Yeah. Oh, they did a good single on a recent, I mean, I'm years behind, but did one called How Are You, which is good. I'm not sure how they are with copyright. Now, one of my friends, Tom, the guy who runs JPU Records, he signed Poly6, but even he was frustrated on how protective their parent company were when it came to like sharing videos online and digital downloads and stuff, because he really wanted to make money from digital distribution, but the main parent company was like, oh, we don't like that because people might share the files. Well, but you can do that with CDs anyway. You can rip a CD. Like the first thing, put a CD in your laptop. The first thing the laptop asks you is, ooh, would you like to copy this? Would you like to make some nice MP3s out of this? Some nice shareable MP3s. So I don't know what the deal is. Digital distribution can make loads of money, but yeah, the parent company, Poly6, made it really difficult. I don't think they're signed to JPU anymore, which is a shame because I really used to like seeing Poly6 live in the UK. I think I saw them for the first time live in like 2003, 2004, something like that, maybe even earlier. But they shot themselves in the foot with the distribution. But yeah, for modern tracks, I did like How Are You? The video to that was quite good as well. I would love to review them. I would love to review some of the stuff that I really like because I'd like other people to see their stuff. But yeah, again, I think it would get shot down, which is bad for them. It's really bad for them. Ivy Shy says Infection Zone. Yes, it is. And soap opera voice like EastEnders. So yeah, I sound like I'm itching for a fight with anyone at the moment. So okay, so CMC, was Sin not opening for Scandal recently? I don't know, maybe. Are they a Japanese band? Either that or maybe Scandal was sinning before their show. They'd come on stage with a big bag full of like easily donatable food and just gluttony, yeah, gluttony, and then Lust, they'd all just pull members out of the audience and make out with them, and Envy, they'd all like sort of slap each other and say, oh, you bitch, you're too pretty. Yeah, they'd go through all the sins on stage before they perform. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbour's spouse. I don't know. Point at each other and go, I really fancy your husband. Are they one of those bands that are allowed to have husbands? Are they one of those like weird bands where they aren't allowed a romantic partner and then they wait, they work until they're the age of 30, and then it's kind of difficult for them to get into a proper relationship? I don't know. Okay, CMC. So Harry replies saying, I believe that was Sim. Okay. So they perform with the big plumb bob, the big green diamond over their head, sing in Simlish. So Fernando says he's never heard of Poly6, which is interesting. See, they were quite good. They were quite big on the internet because the videos that they're kind of, if you listen to Poly6's, if you listen to the wrong tracks first, then you might get the wrong impression because their music and their singing is very frenetic. It sounds kind of mental. The first time I heard Poly6 was on a show that I think BBC made called Adam and Joe Go Tokyo, and they would showcase a band at the end of the show live, and Poly6 played a track, but I'd also heard them on the internet as well. So they use a lot of like synth keyboard, and they go a bit mad on the guitars as well. And all the vocals are kind of high pitched. So if you listen to too much Poly6 at once, I wouldn't play it in public in my shop, because people would come in and go, could you like slow that down? Are you playing that at like twice the speed? Is this like speed metal Japanese Alvin and the Chipmunks? What are you doing? So it's something you can enjoy on your own, I think. But it's one of those where you kind of have to develop a taste for it. You can't play it to people and go, hey, listen to this. And I can't do an impression of it because I can't do high pitches at the moment, but it just sounds crazy. So until you get a taste for it. They've done a couple. They often appear on these kind of cover albums. Like there was a Metallica cover album in Japan called Metallica, and they did a really good cover of Enter Sandman, which was quite good. And they've also covered My Sharona in one of their albums as well. And they did live a good cover of Secret Agent Man, which was quite good as well. So Poly6, yeah, they're quite good. They're fun, but as I say, they can be a bit frenetic for some people. They can be a bit crazy, high energy, as it were. Oh, see, there we go. Hannah Elizabeth. I dropped out of Poly6 after We Ate the Machine. And they stopped putting new music videos out, and they kept swapping out and losing members. So yeah, that's kind of the last album I bought. How Are You was on the EP that came out after that, which was called EP, and which was quite good. But How Are You was the standout track from that. It had a music video and everything. So they don't have viral music videos like they used to. They had music videos for there's some old tracks as well. They're quite old, relatively now, because they had Rocket, which had a good music video. They had Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto, which had a good music video. What else? Each Life, Each End, Peach Pie on the Beach. They had music videos. Yeah, Electric Surf and Go-Go. What else had a music video? But anyway, yeah. So yeah, Poly6 used to be really strong, and they did work in America as well. They did the music. They did the intro to an American cartoon show called Super Team Monkey Force Go or something. They did the intro music for that. So yeah. Okay, so Penguin Krieger says, I was gone for about 10 minutes. I'm not sure exactly what you guys discussed, but Scandal also part of Sims Dead Pop Festival in June. There's a lot of music festivals in Japan. Just this past week, there was a big like EDM festival here in Hakuba called Snow Machine. Very expensive for the tickets. And it was all just like DJs and stuff. So I'm not sure how popular it was. I turned up too late to see. CMC says all the Sins tour would be a commercial success. Yeah, for all the when I retired. Before that, I was too busy with work and life. Well, yeah, it's kind of the opposite for me. I was into music and anime and stuff before I started working a lot, because of course I don't do a 9-to-5 job. It would be a lot easier for me to stick in my hobbies if I started work at 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning and I finished at 5 o'clock in the evening, and that would be it. I don't have to worry about it, but I take work home with me, and work is life for me because I run my own small business. So, but before I started running my own thing, yeah, I would get time to indulge in music and indulge in anime and indulge in comics. So it would be nice. I always thought of Poly6 of what would happen if Evo crossed with a thrash band. That's pretty true. They are really, really well influenced by Devo. And there was another Japanese band which was influenced by Devo, and I think they even did like a cover album, but they would have the same sort of style with the red, like Wisdom hats and stuff. I can't remember the band's name. I bought one of their CDs, and it came in an oversized case, and I bought the CD, and I never played it, and I can't remember what that band's name is. It's so frustrating. Maybe in the future I'll pull it out and I'll find it, and I'll see what that band is. But there was another Japanese Devo inspired band that I bought a CD for. I can't remember if I listened to it, but yeah, it's true. Yeah, Poly-6 really influenced by, and it could be argued they are being very scandalous and sinning. Oh, really? Okay, that sounds okay. That's piqued a little bit of interest. As long as they don't go full K-pop, I think they're all right. I don't know. I think Japanese fans like that level of modesty. You know, they don't mind doing like sexy faces. You know, like I think they're probably into come to bed eyes, but they're not into you know, come to bed outfits. I don't know. It's I think titillation is the biggest factor here, because that sort of gives you a modicum of chance. You know, you've got somewhere to take your imagination. I think maybe because Korea, it's so Korean music videos are just over the top. It's kind of teasing. It's like that part in Borat, you know. She used to tease Bilal in the cage. You will never get this. You will never get this. But one day he break a cage and he get this. That's kind of what Korean music videos are kind of like to me. But Howard does bring this up a lot anyway. So, yeah. So CMC says it's a terrible song though, Koi Suru Universe. That's a shame. So, yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of that Rammstein song where they did a really out there video, you know, pussy. You have a pussy. I have a dicker. And it is dicker. I have a dicker. So let's do it quick. That was it. That was the song. And it's just like the video was really scandalous, but the song was shit. I mean, Rammstein used to do such good music. And Sonne, what a hook. You know, the music video where it's like Snow White and Rammstein play the Seven Dwarfs. That music, such good music. I saw Rammstein live when they were doing the America tour. I saw them at Brixton Academy in London. And because that place has such a high ceiling and because it's so massive on the inside, they were allowed to do the pyrotechnics. And that's when that song for Triple X, Firefly, came out. And it was just incredible. Such a good gig. Anyway, but that one song, Pussy, with that video, yeah, scandalous video, but the song was a bit shit. So Fernando says, never got into anime. Seems like a waste of time. I can understand that, especially when you look at popular anime series go on forever. Now, I'm glad that Dragon Ball Z came out while I was in secondary school, because I could go to school, I could come home, have nothing to do, and then Dragon Ball would be on, and you could watch 2 episodes a night, and it'd be like a soap opera to you, and you could consume this anime easily. I mean, spoilers were possible because, of course, the anime came out in 1988, and I was watching it in 2002. But because it was so hard to verify news, it was all rumors. Like, people go, Vegeta has a son with Bulma, and you're like, no, of course not. That doesn't happen. They show you a picture. It's like, no, see, his name's Turanksu, and you're like, no. If I wanted to watch One Piece, It's like, no, I'm not watching 600 episodes. When would I get time for that? That's just ridiculous. So sometimes you have to look into whether an anime as well. Like someone recommended, it's a bit shameful, but Orimo. And I mean, I like the idea of Orimo because it takes place within the anime fan scene. I do like introspective anime like that. I like slice of life stuff. I like stuff that shows you what society is like. So I wanted to watch Orimo, but I couldn't be bothered with like 2 or 3 seasons at 24 episodes each. So I watched the first episode of season 1, then the last episode of season 1, then the first episode of season 2, and the last episode of season 2. And I'm like, I've watched it now. I did the same with Sonic X when Sonic X came out on Netflix a few weeks ago. Like, I'm going to watch the first episode and the last episode, and then I've seen the whole thing. But some anime, yes, because it's such an investment, because you have to watch so many episodes. It's not like watching a movie. You watch a movie, like, say, for instance, a lot of people don't like Suicide Squad, but if you're sitting there of a Sunday afternoon, you're like, there's nothing on, I like it, it's fine. But if you spend 2 hours watching a thing, you're like, that's fine, I didn't really lose much. But if you watch an anime series for like 24 episodes, you're like, didn't really like that. You've wasted so much time. My connection is unstable, so I'm stuck in the buffering zone. Buffering zone. Sorry, still looking at an unstable connection. There we go. So we were just looking at an unstable connection just then. So I'm kind of back from that. So I'm not sure a person who can tolerate. Oh, sorry, Penguin Krieger. I'm not sure a person who can tolerate BBTS should be consulted when it comes to discussion about quality. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, some people's taste can be a bit shit, can't it? But that's all relative. That's the wonder of the human condition, is taste. Fernando, same. It's interesting. But superhero movies, I really like them because they've got hundreds, thousands of source material you can pull from, and it's incredible that technology in filmmaking has caught up with the storytelling, and it gives you enough. They've really invested so much time and money in creating like story arcs with these characters. It is a bit like soap operas that people don't like but don't give a chance. Say, for instance, people who say they don't like Brooklyn Nine-Nine or Big Bang Theory or Friends, and they say, "Oh, I don't like it because I watched an episode once and it didn't appeal to me." And like they watch an episode like episode 4 from season 3. It's like, well, no, you've got to establish the connections to get the most out of it. That's why Endgame was such an incredible movie, because I saw it on the first day in a theater with a bunch of people. Comic books, not open books. Okay. Yeah, comic books. Yeah, again, it's hard to find the right ones to invest in. Unfortunately, you do have to kind of explore with comic books. Oftentimes, I think the same way about comic books. I can't, even though I live with them, that's my business. Sometimes I pick up something that people have hyped up, like DC Comics, Dark Knight's Metal. I was like, what am I reading? I don't get this at all. But some things are really worth reading. But unfortunately, it is one of those things where you have to kind of explore to find what you like. But oftentimes, I'll pick up a thing and I'm like, oh, this is better than I thought. Why didn't I read this sooner? Plus, also, books are quicker to consume than movies. So it's worth exploring comics more than it's worth exploring movies. But, you know, you do have to put the work in and explore. CMC is getting a bit, yeah, I don't see how one invalidates the other. Say human condition, that's taste, you know. Like love, people love beer, don't they? But I don't like it, you know. Quiz Through Universe, second favorite song. Well, there you go. See, DBZ is one good episode followed by 5 or 6 episodes of filler. Now, that's the true about Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is full of filler, but that's why they brought out Dragon Ball Z Kai, because they brought out Dragon Ball Z Kai. And I did find myself thinking about it from the original broadcast mindset. It builds anticipation. And these days, of course, when it all comes out on season box sets and people are fully aware of the storyline, it is frustrating because especially back in the day when it was trying to catch up with the manga. You know, the manga would be ahead of it, although the manga would be falling behind. So I think because the thing is, Dragon Ball Super is on hiatus now, but now the manga is way ahead of it. But does that guarantee that they're going to use the manga as source material for the new anime? Which would be silly, because like now you've had the anime spoiled for you. See, Hannah says, so I thought anime was a waste of time until my brother showed me Hayabane Renmei. Yeah, that was a very serious series, though. It depends what you want out of your media content, because people back then, I suppose, thought anime was just light-hearted and silly and upskirt shots. And then a series like Hayabane Renmei about, like, I don't know, depressed angels living in our world and trying to live. I think it's by Yusuke Murata, I think, Hayabane Renmei. But that had quite a big impact when it came out, I suppose, because it was like the Madoka Magica of its day, you know. So which, yeah, again, Madoka Magica is one of those series which gives you an impression and then it completely shatters that impression when it came out. But then again,
subverts your expectations.
There you go. But the thing is, all the promo artwork for Hayabane Renmei gave it the right way. It was all sad looking little girls with angel wings sitting against wire fences. Anyway, I was trying to say that Koisuru Universe's great song and BBTS is not so good. So there you go. There's your
BBTS, Broken by the Screen, the band who I probably ragged on the hardest.
Connection is unstable.
Oh shit.
Yeah, just waiting on a stable connection again.
I need to sit down. There's not enough room for the two.
So CMC is invalidating someone's opinions. Yay, bias.
Has become more enthusiastic and into.
So CMC
to more of the center of the screen. Oh, sorry. Oh, I just moved him back out. My
bad. So CMC says the last decent movie was, of course, Kick-Ass, and
he's nearly finished it.
Oh yeah,
dive on it.
Kick-Ass was a revolutionary, and like my other half, she really liked the first one. She really liked Kick-Ass, and I really liked it. I can't remember if I read the graphic novel before I watched the film, but of course the film started production before the graphic novel was finished. Now I read Kick-Ass 2 before the film came out, and Kick-Ass 2 was so disappointing. The budget was too high. You could see right from the beginning that the budget, it wasn't like a passion project movie. It was like, oh, the first one made money, so let's do this.
The creators didn't have to like work and think about how to construct it.
Of course, I think they lost the director, because of course was it Edgar Wright for the first one?
No, it wasn't Edgar Wright, was it? It was
no.
I can't remember his name. Matthew something.
Oh, Matthew Vaughn.
That's it, Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew Vaughn. Yeah, so of course they lost him for the second one, and they deviated from the story so much. They deviated from the story a fair bit, but it was too hyper violent. My other half doesn't like watching that one, because of course you have connections to characters, and also stupid shit where Hit Girl got like enamored with boy bands, and like hormones starting to kick in, and I've only seen Kick-Ass 2 once at the cinema, and on my Netflix, it's on my to watch list, because I kind of want to go back to it, because I like the first one so much.
I liked the first one for the first half, but the second half I felt it just kind of lost its charm entirely.
Yeah, it had some really great scenes as well, like the warehouse scene was incredible.
But
the music was really good, and I heard that music track for the first time at the beginning of 28 Weeks Later. So I really like that music track. And then they used it in the warehouse scene, and it blew my mind.
I must admit, again, I mean, just to give a counter, I thought the warehouse scene in Kick-Ass, I didn't find particularly spectacular.
Did you see it at the cinema?
I did actually.
Oh right. So I think cinema really adds impact.
But the thing is that to me it was good, but it wasn't. I didn't get the feeling it was a wow moment like some people said it was. But it was certainly was nothing compared to Matthew Vaughn when he did the church scene in Kingsman.
See, that was a precursor. So good.
Yeah.
So Matthew Vaughn.
Is it Vaughn or Vaughn?
Vaughn, I don't know, but Matthew Vaughn with Mark Miller.
Yeah,
and there's more coming. I don't know if the same director is working on it, but because Mark Miller's doing a bunch of Netflix stuff. He did a talk for us at the comic book retailers thing, and he did recommend one of his properties, but this was like 2 or 3 years ago. He recommended Huck. That's his favorite. That's the one he wants to get out there. But I liked Nemesis, which is like what if like a guy with Batman's resources decide to use them for evil. It's a very short book.
Everyone dies.
It is.
Just to cover something Fernando was saying, and to clarify your point a little bit. Fernando says quantity of money does not mean quality story. I think that I think that's true. There are various levels to that. I mean,
true.
The one thing that comes to mind for me is I always forget his name. The guy who directed Lord of the Rings.
Oh, Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson. Now, I really loved Peter Jackson's early films.
All right.
And they don't get me wrong. I know this sort of schlocky, sort of a bit, nasty, rough around the edges stuff. But I mean, especially when you consider
Bad Taste.
Well, Bad Taste was a project that took them years to make, and it was just they recorded on their weekends and evenings after work. So you can see his hair length and his beard length changing throughout. But if you look at it, because of the fact that the film was produced the way it did, and it was, as you said, a labor of love, but I think a labor of love, sometimes if you don't have the money to make whatever you want, you really have to think about how am I going to construct it? Whereas if you've got money to make whatever you want, you don't always think about the methodology so much. The same can be said for music. I mean, before music was totally digital, and don't get me wrong, I love the fact that now you can do anything you want with sound. But if you look at before that, people were much more creative with the sounds they made because of the fact that they had a way to get into. There was trial and error. There was like, how are we going to make this sound? And the same applies to movies. So, for example, you take Peter Jackson's work with like CGI and things like Lord of the Rings. I know a lot of people like Lord of the Rings, but I personally don't. And I must admit that as beautiful as the films look, as beautiful as the graphic work is, I'm not a big fan of the story, but if you like the story, then you like the story. I mean, overall, it's just slow, plodding, and uninspired, in my opinion. It's just a CGI fest. And that, to me, is the difference between something like Bad Taste or Brain Dead, where he's basically like, well, here's something funny I want to do, and I'm going to construct it from the floor up to make sense and work, and I'm going to take advantage of the resources I have. And then on the other side, you've got like, well, here's a load of money, here's a script.
What's this then?
Iocane
powder face off.
Don't know what that means.
So, CMC, yeah,
don't know what that means.
Confused in the middle of the screen. Yeah, I was trying to give people a look at the posters. Hannah's Yoshitoshi Abe wrote Renmei. I don't know if Yoshitoshi Abe was the same one who did that series where it was based in like old-fashioned fighter planes as well. I can't remember what it's called. I have a visual memory, so all I can remember is the poster for that series. But yeah, Yoshitoshi Abe has a drawing style which is really hard to convert into an animation style. Like, if you're a fan of Yoshitoshi Abe, I do recommend his art books because a couple of them came out in English. So beautiful artwork, but really hard to replicate.
Just to cover on one of CMC's points, I know me and CMC universally disagree on everything, which is what makes it so funny. He was saying about Kingsman, its sequels, neither good or bad, just forgettable. I would agree in regards to the second one. The second one is forgettable because
I've watched it once or twice.
It's
the second one.
Inconsistent, poorly constructed, basically steals a lot of notes from the first one, but like you said, it's
still
forgettable.
Fun.
It's fun and forgettable. And I think bringing back Colin Firth was just a total cop out, and I think it screwed it up.
The first one, I really like the first one.
I must admit, it benefits from having come out of nowhere, from the fact that no one expected anything from it.
And the graphic novel was so boring.
But
the original graphic novel, I think Frank quietly did the artwork or something. But the first one was such a shit read. And then they turned it into this incredible film compared to the source material. I love Kingsman so much. Oops, sorry, you're done. But yeah, I love the first film. Me and my other half loved the first film so much. So I went to try and read the graphic novel. I was like, I'm not getting into this.
I think the thing is that the thing that cannot be taken away from the first one is that the pacing is so good. I mean, the way that the story is paced and delivered by the director, Matthew Vaughn, He paces it so well that you're always kind of kept watching. So I think that works. I am interested to see the third one. I don't know what direction they're going to go in. I think it could either be very good or it could be a real letdown. I know studios at times, which basically means that they're trying to find a spot where it won't be up against anything too much. But I'm interested to see the third one, the prequel one. Let's have a look at some of the comments. Fernando saying limitation forces creativity. I think it forces, creativity because it forces you to think around your obstacles rather than complacency, I guess.
Although the people who worked on, say, for instance, Kick-Ass were really connected really closely because Mark Miller they're all friends. Mark Miller, friends with Jonathan Ross, and his wife did the screenplay.
I heard about that.
And she also worked on Stardust, I believe, which was also another
she
graphic
wrote
novel.
The screenplay for that.
Yeah, exactly. So
just in comments to this, I think the strawberry, it's got a weird strawberry cream flavor.
It does. It is now, but ADV back when they were publishing manga, the DVDs are really good as well. I know some people just torrent everything, but the DVDs for Azumanga Daioh are really good. They put a lot of effort into their DVDs. So I'd really recommend the DVDs for Azumanga Daioh. The artist that Kiyohiko Azuma was really popular at the time, and Kiyohiko Azuma also brought out these 2 fan books in the 90s, and they took other properties and added it to their style, which was really, really good. It had like Tenchi Muyo and Battle Athletes in it, and it also had like another CD-ROM with other artwork and stuff in it. But I really liked Kiyohiko Azuma's Azumanga style with the Tenchi Muyo property. That was pretty good. But yeah, Azumanga Daioh, really recommend the manga. The original print by ADV has really good cultural notes, and the DVDs by ADV also have really good cultural notes.
So,
and in Japanese, I couldn't stand it in English, unfortunately.
So PK's made I'll be honest,
a grand thing.
I accept that Lord of the Rings had to be done grand. I think that there's nothing about the budget so much that made it bad as the fact that having a budget can lead to a degree of complacency. And what I mean with that is that, for example, I think, don't get me wrong, even critics who love the films, one of the universal complaints is that they do pad time. Even like critics who really adore these films usually agree that they pad time quite a lot. Which
3-hour director's cut,
which
volume.
If you take that into consideration, there are sometimes shorter films that are very good at world building, which build a world very well just by knowing how to put things together. So I understand some people say this length is to do with adding the grandiose of the story, but I think, you can get films that are much shorter that manage to build the story just by good, intelligent directing. And again, I'm a fan of a lot of Peter Jackson's work, so I'm not disrespecting Peter Jackson, but I think that what was achieved by making a long film with big, grandiose establishing shots could have been done in a more compact and intelligent way if it had been. Like I said, the difficult thing is to present it properly. You do need the budget. So yeah, the big budget was necessary, but at the same time, the big budget is also the thing that perhaps doesn't, the fact that you have this almost infinite budget is the thing that stops you having to really sit down and consider it. Obviously it was greenlit as a trilogy on the first film. So, the budget behind it was huge from the get-go. So,
but the thing is, with Lord of the Rings, a lot of the budget was costumes.
Yeah.
Which is good because you've got physical effects, which are incomparable to CG. There are imperfections in physical.
I do maintain it is one of the ugliest things I've ever seen on film.
Really?
Don't get me wrong, I know the CGI was much more simple then, but it was the sort of thing where you look at it and you go, this just, I don't know why anyone, it just looks so watery and weightless, which is surprising because some of the other scenes look so good, but it was obvious they didn't know how to construct that scene and they just threw money at it. And that resulted in a scene that, you look a lot of times now when people talk about scenes that do not stand up well against time.
Okay.
That one comes up a lot because it looks, and there's that horrible scene where Orlando Bloom's character is like jumping up on that, and it just looks terrible. And you're like, you just shouldn't have allowed this to be made. And Peter Jackson should have said, no, let's do this differently. So
I think it all stands out a lot more if you're watching it on Blu-ray. I think, and all the
maybe.
There's
a lot of comments. Consume anime on the Crunchyroll.
I mentioned that the other series I might have been thinking of was Last Exile, and that is true, yes. And
thanks for that, Harry, by the way.
Yoshiteshi Abe also did one other series I can't remember the name. It had a really weird title. I think it was like about some angel, though, a little homeless girl or little demon or angel girl living with some other woman. And I can't remember the name of it. It had a really weird title. It was really hard to read, like phonetically. It was so strange. Strawberry beer. No, it's a chew high.
Chew high.
It's chew high. So it's shochu and soda water. So it's like sake but made with sweet potatoes. So shochu. So sake is made with rice. Shochu is made with sweet potato. So it's sweet potato vodka mixed with soda water and a flavor syrup. Big fan of Lord of the Rings movies. Yeah, okay, we've done that.
We was mentioning about
so Harry
Crunchyroll.
says, consume anime on the Crunchyroll Funimation streaming service, which are great because they're free. You know, I've got rid of most of my DVDs and tapes. DVDs are good because sometimes you get extras, but say apart from ADV, there aren't many companies that bring out good extras. Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040 DVD. Tokyo 2040 has a really good intro. I really like the intro to 2040. But music was always a big part of Bubblegum Crisis. You cannot believe in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, how massive the Night Sabers were when it comes to their music. Hurricane was a huge hit. So Bubblegum Crisis was a big thing. And I really like the artist Kenichi Sonoda. But Gunsmith Cats is one of my favorites ever. And Kenichi Sonoda's character design almost defined the late 80s and early 90s, the late 80s more so. But Kenichi Sonoda was incredible. But the music production in Bubblegum Crisis was huge. And didn't really follow up so much with Tokyo 2040. Apart from the intro. I love the intro to 2040. I never finished it, unfortunately. All I can remember from Bubblegum Crisis 2040 in the dub is the guy called Mason, and that's it.
That's probably the one that most people like. That
rich ending. It's got like 5.
Well, it's that ending where he goes around and in slow motion kisses every single member, and then goes back and starts kissing them again. It's, I mean, again, this like that CGI battle scene. This is one that people come back to and they point as one of the weaknesses in the trilogy. Is the scene where he's about to get on the boat and he's saying goodbye to everyone. And he kisses goodbye to all of them in like a circle, and then goes by and does it again. With like 2 of them again. And my dad was laughing hysterically, and my dad is not much of a laughing person. He was laughing. He's like, "Why won't he just get on the bloody boat?" And I was like, actually, you know what? I'm with you on this one, Dad. Why won't he get on the bloody boat? I don't know. Let's have a look at some of the comments. Fernando's saying, okay, I was wondering what that drink was. Yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, the best way to think of Chuhai is basically like the Japanese version of vodka. Think of it as a Japanese vodka.
Yeah.
So you get, they've now started doing Chuhai and Coke, which is interesting because Chuhai and Coke is like a vodka and Coke, which is such a normal drink in the West, but you bring it over here and a lot of people think it's really weird, which is kind of interesting to see. But it tastes kind of like a
so Hannah says, Serial Experiments Lane. Yeah, that was really big. And that's the one I was thinking of. Like near under 7, because it had the little underscore as well.
Yeah.
And near under 7. And I was like, how the hell am I supposed to pronounce this? I had a poster for that series and I just liked the artwork. I never tried watching the anime. The anime itself was hard to get in the West, but Serial Experiments Lane was one of those ones that was really easy to get. It was big. That sort of dark tone anime was quite popular back then. Say Lane was popular, Paranoid Agent was popular. But then again, it was all like, Serial Experiments Lane and like, what was it? What's her name? Yuka Kano, I think, the girl who does all the music with the acoustic guitar. Her music was really popular back then. I think people were just kind of back then. They didn't want moe. They wanted like they didn't want moe. Music. They wanted emo, basically.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
These days, people want moe. Back then, they wanted emo.
No, they want moe death metal.
MP3s of most of the old Bubblegum Crisis music, Harry.
Fernando, by the way, thank you so much for tuning in. Bye, Fernando.
Oh, see you, Fernando.
Daisy. Yes, one of the strangest moving in presents anyone's ever received, but I'm not complaining.
I'd complain. I'd be like, you think I'm some sort of dirty pervert? Well, this is Japan, so that's normal, so fine, whatever.
So anyway, just wanted to mention one of the things I probably should mention this earlier in the stream. As many of you know, but I'm just going to keep on reminding people, Live Week is not dead. Live Week has just become like this weird extended thing where I will eventually get through the list. So it's become live whenever the hell we finish the list.
Can't call it live Fortnite because otherwise Twitch and other video game streaming sites will probably get an anger.
What, for using an English word?
I know, right? Funny how it works. Or we get loads of like, preteen gamers like getting in touch and going, this isn't Fortnite. This isn't Fortnite. What are you doing? This isn't Fortnite. I used to be able to use that word whenever I meant 2 weeks.
I still do because I don't give a shit.
Well, yeah, but it's harder for me working in a comic shop. It's like, someone asks me, "Oh, how often are your deliveries?" And then I say, "Oh, they're every fortnight." And then the little kids are like, "Fortnight?" I'm like, "No, it means 2 weeks." God's sake. 14
Just look at their
nights.
Look at their parents. Your fault.
It's like, not fortnightly. God damn it. So I have to say every 2 weeks. Quite fun, I guess, because
it's lowest common denominator though. It's that sort of generic thing.
No, it's because it's free to play.
Yeah, but
it's a good game that's free to play. So it's fine. It's fine, really. I bet if you tried it, it'd be great because I like sandbox games where you can build things and explore. So you get the ability to build ramps and stages and stuff without worrying about physics and limitations. And also it's a fun, player versus player shoot 'em up. And it's got that battle royale element where it closes off, certain sections until there's only a small area to fight in. And that sounds great to me. That sounds fine. It sounds really fun. I haven't played it. I don't have any means to play it, unfortunately, but I bet I'd really like it if I played it.
To me, it sounds kind of like it just sounds like a sort of a general development of what we've already seen. It's kind of like Minecraft meets.
But it's got those little elements. It's got like that system from Battle Royale where areas close.
But they've been doing that in a lot of shooters recently.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything else where they close off areas until you're only trapped in a small area, so you can't camp, you can't hide for too long. I don't really know. I can't name off the top of my head any other games that do that close off areas as the game progresses.
I don't know if that's necessarily something that's been done with shooters, but it's been done with other games.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just this is bringing a lot of elements together. But I think my biggest issue is that I've never been a big fan of too many of the like these multiplayer games and things because a lot of them it's just like,
Hannah's going. Okay, if you've already missed your sigh, thanks for the
bye.
Thanks for reminding me of what anime I was forgetting. Yeah.
Live lives forever, says Ivy Shaw. You're damn right. Yeah, but
Groundhog Day, the week that never ends.
Groundhog Week. New song suggestion, Fred, as CMC mentioned. Oh, God, hiccups really bad. This one,
don't forget.
Gassy as hell.
Don't forget.
5 Scotch and theatre. Yeah, damn right. New WTW song suggestion, Fred, for World Tour Wednesdays. Remember, it will be coming back eventually. We've got a few things to get on with, but hopefully we're going to be able to do some more World Tour Wednesdays and get that.
I want to be able to be like,
alive and I'm not into online multiplayer games, especially not competitive ones, says PK.
Don't like losing.
No, it's not that. I mean, just to finish the point I was making earlier. The thing is that the reason I'm not so much into them is because, I mean, video games anyway, you don't get much time to play them when you're older and you've got other things to do. But I think the biggest problem with those games is that you wonder what is the point. If you've got a game that's kind of like a single player focused game, which has got like a storyline or a conclusion or something, it's almost like it's almost kind of like completing a story or a purpose. It's like a thing that you can kind of do as a kind of like watching a movie. It's kind of like it's kind of like a TV series. It's focused on taking as much of your time as possible.
When you want to play casually, there's too many players who have got like time-based perks.
Nothing else to do.
I tried playing Call of Duty once, and it was like it'd already been out for like months, and everyone else had these perks and stuff, which made it look which made new people really shit at it. So like, I'm just here to die.
It's your fodder.
know?
You're literally fodder.
I used to enjoy playing GoldenEye with people
That's a good one.
because there's no perks. Either you shoot someone or you don't. You don't like have all these perks equipped that make you run faster, jump higher, auto aim. You're all on the same level.
I think, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I mean, now I've got this PC is quite good, and I didn't even think about it till recently that actually it's got a really good graphics card. I can play games in this, but I don't have time. The only games I'm really interested in are ones where I can do something that is genuinely a little bit of temporary fun that serves its purpose and then is done.
It's free to play online,
but then you just think
fun. But there are people with too many perks.
If you're playing GTA Online, you just think, why not just play GTA? Just free run.
Because the pedestrians on GTA are too passive. At least when you're playing GTA Online, there are other people doing interesting things, which I quite like. I quite like seeing other people going on sprees, and I'll just like sit and watch, or I'll try and take them out or whatever. But unfortunately, with GTA Online, there's so much at risk. You can lose your money, you can lose your car.
If you're earning things and someone can just steal them, it makes the crime element of GTA much more sadistic, because you're thinking, well, actually, no, I just feel like I'm genuinely being robbed.
Especially when you have something that you've invested so much in get taken away from you.
CMC says you can play if you have a laptop, tablet, or GeForce. Now that's true.
I'm not sure if I do.
Probably do, actually, although you're not your laptop might be, but Discord link from Harry, good one. Thank you for that, by the way. It's really good. If you want to carry on the conversation, obviously when we're not doing live streams, it's a good place to be. I don't enjoy player versus player games, says Harry. I agree. I mean, I can see the point that James is actually making there with GTA Online, seeing what other people are doing. But when you play a game, I'm kind of more focused on, I'm just here to kind of like get my little my fantasy moment, do what I want to do.
So I do like the
I'm not here to socialize, I'm here to shoot.
What is it? I do like the you can't. I do like the unpredictability of human players. See, one of the things I used to like playing when it came out on the Wii, Mario Kart. I used to get online with a couple of friends and play Mario Kart 64. So yet again, non-online multiplayer games where there aren't perks and stuff. I like those. So I do like multiplayer games, but only can't earn unfair advantages, and you get thrown into a match with them.
I'll give an interesting point. I mean, this is a bit different, but I mean, as CMC probably knows, I love the racing sims, like the really good detailed sims.
I like arcade races.
Yeah, so you like the arcade ones. I like the really
like all the tuning and all the like. Well, I don't like the handling either. I do like to be able to throw a car around a corner.
To me, when the physics is really good, I love that sort of reward of like getting the balance right and doing that. And I really enjoy those because you can pick them up, have fun with them. If you play online, although I know a lot of them have grading, so they grade the drivers to make sure you're against people who are not crap. But if you play them online, a lot of the time you get people who are basically acting like dicks. Whereas if you just use the AI is so good now in a lot of them that actually you can pick it up, do like a 15-minute race, feels really good. You get a good experience because the AI is really intelligent and won't deliberately act like a dick. It'll do silly things and make funny mistakes and stuff, but it won't just be dickish for no reason.
Yeah.
Whereas you get panicky people when you play against online people. You get people who just like dive bomb move and just take you both out, and that's the end of it. And you're like, well, what was the point of that?
Yeah.
So I think also it depends on the type of game, because like when you're saying about things like GTA Online, again, although it's a very different game, it's the thing you've got a lot to lose. You can invest in playing it and then it's ruined. And same thing if you're doing like a race sim, you can start a race and you've got it all sorted out, and then someone just ruins the whole thing because they got panicky and decided to throw their car into you. So I think it depends on the type of game as well. If it's something like a shooter where you can just respawn and just carry on, then I can maybe see it. I can maybe see it more because there's less to lose potentially. Interesting point though.
Yeah.
CMC says, if you want to play games with story online, Total War games. I heard about them. I don't really know much about them. I've just heard the name. I don't know what type of game they are. Let me know.
Yeah, I don't know if it's one of those three-quarter down, like strategy games. I'm not really into like those so much. I did like playing Warcraft 3, I think, on the PlayStation. I think it was on there. Warcraft 3. I quite enjoyed playing that, but that was
a bit of
well over 15 years ago.
Yeah, they're a bit of a dying breed now, which is a shame. Because I mean, even though again, those involve more time to invest than I think I really have. I do think that those are the sorts of games where they, people put a lot of thought into them. They're real thinking games, but yeah, no, I mean, I think the other thing is single player games with a lot of like storyline. I really like them if it's a good storyline. Because I used to have more time for them. So there was some games I played when I was younger that had really good storyline. You're like, that's actually that. You kind of almost remember it the same way you remember a good film. You're like, I remember that. That was a really good plot, and that was really surprising. That was really interesting.
I played a 20-hour game of South Park: Stick of Truth.
Yes, that's a good one to play. That's a good one.
So because it was a property I'm familiar with, and the way it looks is incredible because it looks just like a show. And I'm a fan of the show, and I wanted as much official storyline content from South Park as I could get a hold of. So, say instead of watching TV and movies for about a week, we played South Park: Stick of Truth instead.
So I just want to quickly address PK's point. PK's made a really interesting point. He said, I primarily play single-player story-focused games. I usually need a goal because sandbox games can't really keep my interest. Actually, I think maybe what I'm saying here, there's two different types of games you can enjoy. You can enjoy the single-player story-focused ones where you're kind of like going for a target. The sandbox ones are more like catharsis. You do it just to like let out a bit of energy. So it's like, I'm going to go on GTA, I'm going to blow something up, have a bit of fun. It's all non-consequential. It's just there to give you a little bit of
That's what I quite like. So I like seeing how far I can take a game. Like on, say, for instance, Skate 2, I like building things as tall as I can and like putting a ramp at the bottom.
Everyone remembers Roller Coaster Tycoon, where everyone built incomplete roller coasters just to see how high they could launch. Everyone did that. No one ever built a complete roller coaster.
People who didn't.
Yeah, if anyone who completed their roller coaster, we're frightened about you.
That is one of the things that led me to know that the one I'm with is the one, because I went to visit her at her place once, and she was like, "Look, I found my copy of Roller Coaster Tycoon." She says, "Do you know what I used to do on this game?" I was like, "Go on, tell me." She's like, "Oh, I used to love doing roller coasters that lead to nowhere," and she thought it was hilarious. I was like, "Yeah, I like this person." 7 years later, here we are. Yeah.
He's here with me.
Right, yeah. 7 years later, here I am getting away from her on the other side of the globe.
Seriously, says games like Rome Total War and Shogun Total War are really good. Yeah, those are like you saying, the 3/4 angle top-down strategy games. 2 games in one, a conquest map and then battle map. So you tend to conquer. Yeah, I mean that reminds me a little bit of.
They were really popular. They can't get really popular without being good, can they?
Exactly. I mean, no, they really did have that. That reminds me a bit of SimCity. I remember SimCity was quite catharsis when I was little.
See, what I used to like doing on The Sims was just like building crazy buildings. Like
again, just put someone in a room with no doors.
Well, no, on The Sims 2, instead of building a house, I built a block of flats.
Sorry, I just read Irish's comment. Sorry, Carrie.
So I just built. Yeah, so instead of a house, everyone had their own little apartment. So of course they just like wander into each other's apartments because it was supposed to be just a house.
You didn't set the rules, no.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ivy Shy says Leisure Suite Larry had a good storyline.
I can't remember which one I played. I played a little bit of one of them, but it might have been on the Amiga. It might have been like when I was so young, when I was like 10 years old or something.
When you didn't understand what was happening to your...
I understood what was happening. But
warping your tiny little mind.
Yeah. I like the idea of those games, but it's probably going to be on my like retirement list. I don't have to do fuck all.
Actually, you mentioned
like,
about that.
I'm just like, you know what? This game's going to take me about 15 hours to play or something. I can't do that in between work and other TV shows. I'm just going to,
I'll be honest, one of the most fun things I found recently, because like I say, I've now started to take into just like having games is like a little bit of a 10-minute catharsis here or there. I need a bit of a break, I need a bit of escapism, something like that. So many easy to download single click mods you can download. So you can like download a game you're familiar with, but a totally mod version. And there's some stuff, you just pick it down, download it. Oh, it's 50 megabytes of some old game that's been modified to be something totally batshit crazy. And you just start it up and you have 10 minutes of what the fuck am I playing? I recognize the format, but everything's screwed up sort of thing. Close it down. A nice little experience, delete it, carry on your day. I found that if you find like a good mod site with like just some old like abandonware games and just download bizarre mods of things with like single click executable ones, so you don't have to like do all funny programming and stuff, that's a really fun way just to pass like 10 minutes of your time. Because admittedly, we're working on the computer so much, it is nice to just do something that just relieves the brain a little bit. But you have your chicken. Nicely done, sir. Nicely
I have a
done.
little bit of chicken.
What's this?
So I used to like the, I think it's my prawn croquets with tartar sauce.
Sasami.
Oh, really? Well, I don't know. Yeah, I used to like using like cheat cartridges, like the Game Genie.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I used to like doing crazy mods on my games.
Impressed when he got that, but then like about 6 months later, we got like a Pentium 2 or something, and suddenly the PlayStation 1 he got looked like a pile of crap by comparison. But obviously, it had all the really good games because everyone was designing games for him at the time. But yeah, I mean, I'm not one of those sort of PC game snobs, but I just find it easy. It's like I've got a PC already. Use a PC for work. You put a game on it, it works. Hey, why buy a console? But no, except if you want like the console games, it makes sense. But just find everything easier to do on a PC. Is I already got a computer.
If you want those good games on the consoles, then all right, I guess I understand.
They're not necessarily better. Depends what types of games you like.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, if you want to do the driving ones, the ones on the console as a general are not very good. Unless they're ports, just sort of weaker copy. Well. So, guys, we're over the 2 hour mark. So, we're not in a particular rush today, but we might start to wind things down soon.
Final Fantasy 7 and 8 and JRPGs. Yeah, my brothers used to play a lot of those.
Final Fantasy 7 remakes finally coming out eventually. Not that
I'm not one of it anyway.
I'm not a big fan of it, but still interested to see what it looks like because it's a big deal for a lot of people.
So luckily for me, my brothers would play them. So by proxy, I kind of learned what was going on. So instead of like having to sit there and do it myself, every hour or so I just like lean in and go, so what's going on now? What's happening now? Oh, right, okay. Let me know when there's another cutscene coming up. I'll watch that and I'll kind of get the gist of what's going on. I'll be over there doing something else like drawing or playing another game.
So Total War is like the best parts of SimCity and battle maps. Yeah, I'd heard that was the whole deal. It kind of had like that SimCity element. I found it kind of fun because it had that element where you could just destroy things, but there was also a simple logic where you could build something. Oh, that's cool. Let's destroy it now.
I used to like playing Theme Park on the Atari Jaguar.
That's an old one. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Although everyone was always angry all the time in that game. All your guests hated you.
Yeah, I used to put loads of salt in the fries, so people would always want to buy a drink.
He was a businessman long before he was a businessman. Harry says, my favorite game still to this day. Final Fantasy, that's what you mentioned. PK saying about JRPGs as well. Haven't owned a console since the PS2, says Harry. It's a weird thing. I still think of the PS2 as being relatively new, but then when I think about where I was when the PS2 came out, I remember the school I was at. So, it's actually really old, and yet in my head, I still think, PS2 is relatively new. It just kind of shows how when you're not directly involved in something like I'm not really involved in console gaming, your entire sense of timeline gets completely screwed up. I think, PS2, that's not so long ago. But it's a very long time ago. It's like 20 years ago now.
So the thing is, I only get a new console when someone sells it to me at the shop. So I get it at a ridiculously low cost, like recently. But even then, I'm like, the graphics are too high for this little screen. So I'm like, what? I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at. Everything's in really high clarity. Can
I give a really boring fact, by the way? Sorry, just as I was mentioning that. Did you know that the PS2, I mean, something else would have happened otherwise, but the PS2 is the reason why we have blue LEDs. Because the technology required to make blue LEDs is more expensive and complicated than other color LEDs. And so the people who wanted to manufacture them needed an extremely large order in order to make it profitable and worthwhile. And it was PlayStation who actually ordered the blue LED, therefore making it viable for someone to manufacture the technology. There you go.
If they didn't do it,
someone else would have. Yeah, I know. But it's just an interesting little story. That's the way it turned out.
White LEDs were the hardest ones to produce.
Right.
They were. Seriously, white LEDs are a modern miracle. It is one of the hardest things to have produced. It took them absolutely, because every other color of LED came out. Like, yeah, had those little readies in electronics.
Well, the red was like the original, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but getting them to, it's not actually white, apparently. It's some sort of like really light blue or something. But yeah, the technology, the fact that we've got now cheap and efficient white light is a modern miracle.
We always had cheap and efficient white lightning. Now we got you. Let's have a look at some of the comments are coming in. I will play the remake for sure. Pretty excited for part 1. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the one thing, like I said, it's not something that I was ever particularly involved in. I'm not a big fan of the turn-based combat thing. I'll probably get a bit bored of that. But if it's something you liked, I know that a lot of people have lauded that the storyline to Final Fantasy VII is like this thing that everyone universally loves. So making a modern remake, I can see that, because if you've ever seen, I've seen like the graphics on the original one that's so blocky, and then you get the typical PlayStation 1 style cut schemes and everything.
It's got
like you were saying,
feel, hasn't it? It's got a feel to it.
It's got a feel. So I wonder if that will be lost with the new version. But if the storyline is as strong as everyone says, then I'm sure it will hold up. Actually, the big thing that always got me about Final Fantasy I couldn't just look past it was the idea of people holding swords that obviously have a higher body, like a higher weight than their entire body. It's like, no, you can't lift that. That's ridiculous. Why is your sword like that? You couldn't swing it hard enough to hit anything. Get a real sword. So that was my whole big issue, which is probably why I never got to the good stuff.
Oh dear.
Sorry, I'm a dick. Seems to be dead stream. Stream works for me.
We're boring. Maybe it's dead because it's not worth watching anymore. 2 hours and 10 minutes in, and we just like run out of content.
Turn stream down to 144, says Ivy. That's probably a good point, actually. If you're having trouble, turn down your bit rate.
You won't be able to see any, like, details, like the gaps between our teeth. Just got like
so English.
I see nothing, just like white strips. And like all the text on these posters becomes like
my teeth are so white. I have the whitest teeth ever.
You've got Stephen Merchant in that light.
There.
What do I eat there? It's me, Stephen Merchant.
That's really good. All right, guys. I tell you what, we're gonna round this one up now.
Might as well.
So just want to say a big thank you to everyone for tuning in. I'm glad we passed the 2-hour mark. Big thanks for James coming in, covering half an hour of this, because as you probably guessed, I had another little emergency to deal with. Less of an emergency, but something that needed to be dealt with. So good to have him here to help out of everything. Obviously, next week, James will not be here. We might manage to throw in another live stream later on next week, before the weekend, maybe, if, depending on how we feel. But either way, thank you so much. Me and James are going to be producing a lot of content while he's here. So hopefully we'll be having a lot of videos for you. But just like I say, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks to everyone who's obviously tuned out as well. If you're in here and you haven't pressed like yet, then just please, if you could press like, it really helps for our stats. Much appreciated. As you were saying earlier, you can feel free to subscribe and smash that bell.
Smash that bell. Take that bell and smash it.
I'm going to start losing likes now. Anyway, guys, good night. Everyone's saying good night. Oh, yes, and thank you so much for tuning in. And for now, from Japan, you can go over to Discord if you want to carry on the conversation. But from us here, it is a ciao ciao.
Oh, yes, ciao.